Welcome back to Let's Talk Business. My name is Maria Medina. I am your business and networking coach. And today I'd like to introduce my guest, Billy. Billy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Maria, thank you for having me on today. So, I teach entrepreneurs how to get the cold leads out of their life, especially in an economy like this. People are spending too much money on cold leads that don't usually work. I've built up my entire business using warm leads, and I want to start teaching other people the same strategies that I've used that have been effective.
And what's the name of your company and where are you based out of?
Live local marketing, and I'm about 30 minutes south of DC, so we're in Maryland.
Okay, awesome. I was just recently in DC
Nice.
and it was so nice, but it did remind me a lot of London and London weather, which I feel like I brought back to California because it was raining all weekend and I do not miss that.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of a rainstorm. It was a hurricane that rolled through there, I think, and we had a little bit of the kickoff from that. Sometimes we'll get a little bit of rain when there's hurricanes and stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty sunny here and it's pretty warm. It's the chilly time of year where the leaves start falling and everything, so we get all four seasons. We just get them like really mildly, so a little bit of everything there.
I love that because that's one of the reasons why my wife and I moved to California. We didn't have any seasons in Florida, and we're like, we need weather. We need some weather, but some pleasant weather. But okay, yeah, I digress. We are here. We are here to talk about business. I do apologize. I was like, oh, the moment you said DC, I was like, I was just there. If you were to say biggest success in business so far, what would that be?
Yeah, greatest success. So I take it more of on a personal level, not really like numbers or digits. It's the number of local businesses I've been able to help, the number of local businesses that I've brought attention to and had my community support them. I really gauge a lot of my success on other people's success first. And so a lot of these businesses have done well, especially during rough times, because I've been able to promote them and help them grow and create content for them and do various things to help them and bring my audience to them. And so that's really how I gauge it, is their success becomes my success in that way.
As a coach, I completely relate to that because ultimately, if my clients are doing well, I feel like, okay, we're achieving this as a team. Like, this is something, as much as, it is their effort, it is everything that it's bringing it out in them is so exciting. And seeing them succeed at things that they didn't think was possible is as well. But of course, with all successes come drawbacks. So, what would you say has been your greatest challenge so far, and how did you overcome it?
So the challenges would be some people at first don't believe you're trying to help them. Like they think that you're trying to like steal their firstborn child, or they're crazy like you stay back, and so you have to get that know, like, and trust. And I've built that over the last like 16 years of doing this marketing strategy with the warm marketing. But there's still a few people here and there like, who are you? Stay back. Let me feel you out first. And I think that would be the biggest hurdle that I have to face in this, is some of those people that are a little hesitant that you're giving them something for free and not asking for anything in return. There's still a little bit of skepticism in that kind of philosophy. But once they see the things you're out in the community doing and you give them some examples of your work, you break them down and they're like, all right, cool, let's try this, let's do it, let's make a connection. But sometimes getting over that hurdle is difficult sometimes at first.
And I find that a lot of entrepreneurs often struggle with this because they go into business with something that they love. This is what they love doing. They want to provide this service or this good, and they're not necessarily salespeople. So they are not good at dealing with those objections. And you mentioned no, like, and trust. So Bob Berg, I'm a huge Bob Berg fan. I've actually had him on one of my videos.
Really? That is impressive.
I have. Yeah, I love he's from Florida. The power of networking. I had one person on the show. He mentioned Bob and I said, "Oh yeah, I love his books. I've been reading them. Really excited. Really connects with, resonates with the coaching network." And he's like, "Oh, I'll share it. He's on my LinkedIn. Maybe he'll see it." Haha, he saw it. And super nice. And I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, you commented you want to be on a thing. You never know." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be on one of your videos." And unless you ask, but like I said, people don't go into business thinking, "Oh, I also have to be HR, sales, finance." And then when it comes to that social proof, as you mentioned, it's very, very important getting people to trust you.
Yeah, but once you have a couple in your back pocket, though, like, it really does accelerate the process much faster. Once you have a few businesses, especially the way I do it, like once you have a few local businesses that you work with and they trust you, they all talk, they all know each other. And so when they're getting together, like, oh, I'm struggling. Oh, call Billy. He'll help you out. He'll come and do some stuff for you. He'll help boost you and that kind of thing. So once you get past that, like, it really does spread faster once you get into the collaboration and they know you're being genuine, that kind of thing. It builds fast. But yeah, sometimes there's speed bumps.
I'm glad that you said genuine, because ultimately that is what people, that's where the mistrust comes from. You know, people think, oh, so and so told me they were going to do this, but then they went back on their word. They just wanted more money, or they were doing it to benefit themselves. It wasn't actually genuinely help me. And that's where that mistrust comes from. So the social proof is so much better. And I learned this quickly when I got my first business, when you show them somebody that they know and trust already, and you gain their trust through there. So knowing about the challenges and your successes so far, what would be something that when you first started your business you wish you would have known as an entrepreneur?
So what I do is I go to business owners and I give them something of value, mostly in the form of a video commercial. That's all the time. Usually what I do. And at first, I'm like, I was trying to bring audience to these local businesses because I'm like, oh, I want these people to support them too, and I want them to do well. And I'm like, I want to go viral, and I need a big old audience. And then after I did a few of them, I realized that the connection with the business owner was the gold. Like, it wasn't trying to make a big audience, or wasn't trying to go viral or get a lot of likes and clicks. All those vanity metrics didn't grow the business at all. It was making the connections with the business owners and then giving them something of value and helping them succeed. That's when my business took off. And so I think if I had known that earlier and had focused on them earlier instead of trying to build a big old audience, I would have done it much faster, and I would have been more successful, and I would have had, it just would have gone smoother, I think.
And that goes to show that metrics are important, but it's what metrics are you paying attention to? And I find that I get, without fail, weekly emails of people saying, I can grow your YouTube channel and make you viral, and you need to do this and that to grow your audience. I said, you know what? My audience is exactly where I need it to be, because I'm talking to them. Yeah, I'm talking to them every day, and I'm talking to the local people, and I'm getting to know about their businesses. And the goals of these videos are to not only educate my audience, but also educate myself and learn from what other business owners are doing, what they're learning, what their challenges are, what their successes are, because you can learn so much just by having a conversation with a fellow business owner. If a business owner was struggling right now, what's one resource that you would recommend for them? Whether it's, follow this person on social media, or listen to this podcast, or sign up for this newsletter, read this book, what might that be?
So I guess it depends what business they're in, but I always push the video. Like, learn how to do video, and your business will grow. They'll see your face more. They'll see you out in the community more. I think that I was doing a few podcasts here and there with business owners, but once I turned the camera on and started doing that, it grew so much faster. And then you're out and about and people see you and you're like, oh, you become micro famous, you become like mini famous, not real famous, but people recognize you out and about. And it's free. Like, you already have the device in your hand. When I started doing this 16 years ago, I had to have a camera and it was all this expense and it was kind of a pain in the butt. Now I just need just my phone because it does a better video recording than that camera did 16 years ago. So for like really low barrier of entry, you can have your phone, get like a tripod for like $15, and you get like lapel mics for like $19. For the whole thing, you could do like $50, and you can start making video, making content. Just make sure it meets your goals. Like, make sure you set like what it is you're trying to get to, because if you just sit down and just start doing videos and just putting them out there, like, you're just getting in a car and driving across the state. Like, you got to have some place you're going to go. So make sure you set up your goals, make sure you know who you want to serve and who you want to work with, and then turn that camera on. And if you're afraid, do a couple of videos by yourself. If you're afraid, if you're like, I don't want to do it. I started a few of my videos at first with my kids. I'd plunk them down, put the video there, and ask them how their day is, and just something to kind of like get a couple of reps in. And that worked really well. And I still even have those videos of my kid when he was like 4 or 5, and he loved talking about his day and he yammered on blah 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 blah. And so I still have it. So it was kind of cool. It was acted as like a twofer. Got a chance to practice and edit and do all the stuff, and I got a chance to get him on camera and see him when he was a little kid. So if you're afraid of video, a couple reps with somebody in your family, somebody comfortable doing it. You can always edit. You can always change stuff. Don't worry about that. But I think of all, it's the cheapest, most effective, lowest barrier of entry. Making videos would be the way to go.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I find that's what I started with mine. And I started a different series where I thought I knew what the goal was, which was to educate. And I quickly realized I'm not educating in the way that I want to, which is through human connection. I'm educating the traditional way. So I had another series. Were you on that one, which was the business book challenge?
You know what? I don't know if I was on it, but I watched a bunch of those. I saw those, but I don't think I was on it.
Okay. So it was, let's read a business book together, or let's talk about a business book that we both enjoy, and let's discuss what comes from. But then I was like, you know what? I'm having better conversations where it's just, yeah, let's touch a little bit about the book, but then tell me about you. And after like 5, 6 months of doing the business book series, I said, you know what? Let me just come up with some key questions. And who's good at this? Gary Vee's good at this. Tony Robbins is good at this. It's like, it's already out there. Let's learn from other people. And let's figure out what they were doing, what's working for them. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here today. If you could share one fun fact about yourself, what would that be?
One fun fact? I don't have fun. So I grew up in Pennsylvania, and we had an indoor basketball court. It was we played basketball all the time, but it was a big pole barn garage, and my grandmother had a farm, and one of the silos fell down because it's just getting old and dilapidated. But on the inside of a silo, it's all tongue and groove boards, so that way the silage doesn't leak out. I think it keeps. And my brother and I went out to the farm, gathered up all the tongue and groove boards, and dropped a wooden basketball court in the garage that all the kids from the neighborhood would come over and play all the time. And we had like the spot, rain or shine, everybody could come over and play basketball.
That's so cool. It's really funny. The moment that you said I had an indoor basketball court, my mind just went to that movie, Richie Rich.
No, not at all. It was an old silo. It was nothing like that at all. It was like an old beat up. It was like out of the movie Hoosiers where it was just like all wood and just like we had it's funny is we had a collection of dead nets. So we used to play so much that the nets would rip because we just shoot all the time. So on the sidewall we had a collection of all these dead nets that we ripped over the years. There's like 20 of them on there. So because we just play like all the time. It was just lots of fun, but it was not Richie Rich at all. It was Hoosiers, more like Hoosiers.
Yeah. It just sounds like you were building community from the get go.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty good. I didn't think of it that way. We were just having fun. Yeah, that's awesome.
If anybody does want to reach out to you, get to know about you, your business, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
If you go to the website, it's www.livelocalwarmmmarketing.com. On there, it's got my links to like my LinkedIn if you want to check me out and get more information, the course, the book, the blog, all the stuff. And then there's a free 5-day challenge. If you want to try this out, if you're like, hey, I'm stuck in my leads, or I don't want to do cold leads, or I can't afford it anymore, I want to try something new. The 5-day challenge gives you like a taste, a sample that goes through that without any of the handouts or the videos or any of that stuff. Or you can just, to see if it right. And if it is right for you, then try the course. The course gives you all the handouts, the scripts, the video, all the different stuff you'll need, the systems to put in place. So that way you can skip that 12 years of me trial and error that I had to go through and then get right to the stuff that works. And if you do the 5-day challenge and you complete it, I'll send you my book for free.
Awesome. I'll make sure to share that link in the description and in the blog. Really appreciate you being here today. Thank you everybody for watching.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. I like learning not only what you do, but from when we met a few years ago, also, the progression, a lot has changed. So
Yeah, it's changed a lot. That's right. And if you're in DC again, make sure you call me next time. We can go down there. We can go hang out and take you to a couple of restaurants and stuff. I mean, between like Virginia, the area, like it's Detroit, it's a DMV. So you have the Virginia and DC and Maryland. There's a lot of people in that little area. So I'm sure you meet a lot of entrepreneurs and stuff.
you would not imagine. So I was there maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, and then I got on a call after I come back, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm from DC," and I was like, "I was just there." And then 2 days later, again, another person. And I'm like, "Why am I meeting you after I was there?" So it just means I have to go back. I think it's a sign that I've got to go back and I got to go meet a bunch of you guys in person.
There you go. Hey, you're in. Let me know. Give me a call next time.
Will do. Thank you guys for watching today. And don't forget to tune in for our next session of Let's Talk Business.